So today we are focusing on module 3, which is AWS Global Infrastructure. So when you say infrastructure, it mostly refers to your physical setup, right? So let's say when you say government infrastructure, what is the government infrastructure provide? So government infrastructure provides you that roads, right? That roads, maybe the water, the electricity, and maybe oil, maybe if it's having so there are airports, so everything that is what the government has laid out, right, um, for people to come and use their infrastructure. So businesses come and they host their businesses, they use these infrastructures, and through this infrastructure it reaches out to everyone. So in the same, so that is the infrastructure at the government level, means it is at the country level. So at the country level, how many airports are there, and what all water sources are there? Where do we get our waters from, and where do we get our electricities from? Where the electricity is generated, and the government is constantly trying to improve the infrastructure also, right? So we are moving. So earlier, electricity probably was generated using different type of sources, which was maybe coal or whatever, the means I'm not very sure how they're generating, but right now they're moving towards renewable energies, right? Renewable energy is like using your natural resources to generate electricity, and that is that one of the reasons for going with renewable energy is because of the climate change, right? So and there's a bigger carbon footprint because of the current sources that we're using, and also it is getting depleted and it is affecting the entire world. So they're moving towards renewable energy infrastructure. So even if you see a electricity bill, all these business people, they are going to talk to you about, do you want to go with green energy? So the moment green comes, you're talking about renewable energies, right? And so there are a lot of initiatives. Mostly you will see these days, even like electric cars are coming, and your solar panel houses are coming. So all these are so renewable energy is anything that is generated using sun, water, and wind. Okay, so those are the three words you have to remember. So the thing is, infrastructure is also not only provided, but it is also constantly improvised. In the same way, AWS has this AWS global infrastructure. So you say global means they have this infrastructure set up across the world. So it is not bound to only one country. And that is what this how what is this infrastructure looks like. That is what this chapter is about. So this one part of the section is talking about global infrastructure, like what is the infrastructure, and the second part is what are the services, right? In government case, I tell the services are electricity services, right? The roads and the water. So those are the kind of services. But also in AWS there are services, right? So the most basic services would be your machines, right? That is where everything begins with. In machines, I said machine is equal to memory plus processor plus storage plus network, right? These are the four things inside any machine, and so it is a set of machines that you're looking at. Those are the kind of services that are provided. So in that also machines, there are two types of machines, right? One is a physical machine, which is the same as dedicated host. So physical machine is equal to a dedicated host. So that physical machine, if it is dedicated to you, it becomes a dedicated host. If that physical machine is used by multiple, more than one customer, it becomes shared. So how can one physical machine be shared with multiple customers is through by creating virtual machines. And virtual machine, how do we create virtual machine? We create using a service called Elastic Compute Cloud. So at a very basic level, we are looking at a infrastructure services where we are getting processor, memory, we're getting networks, and we are getting storages. And once you move above this level, you can build applications. You can basically you get softwares, right? To that you can use to create your own applications. So those are called platform. So you have database softwares, you have you know all types of application, machine learning softwares, you have blockchain software, virtual reality software, and so there is a whole range of applications that you would want to create, right? So those are enabled using these softwares, which we call it as platform, and that's why AWS provides that second level of services also, which we call it as platform as a service. So above these platforms, ultimately you build your SaaS application, software as a service. You can create your own application on the top of using these platforms, and provide and use this application to reach out to your customers who can don't have to download anything, but just has to access this application running on the cloud. And those type of services, we call it as software as a service, SaaS service. So services are like divided into three types, right? Infrastructure service, platform service, and software as a service. So each one is built on the top of the other. So software as a service is built on platform as a service. Platform as a service is built on infrastructure as a service. Without infrastructure, nothing can run. Everything is just in the air. Then nothing exists actually. You have to, whatever things you run or you create, every time a machine is required. Whether you are creating the machine or AWS is creating a machine, that's a different thing. Okay. Whether so some of these services, the responsibilities will be shared, right? So physical machines usually, if it is especially if it is not a dedicated host, then you don't really become responsible, right? You become responsible for your virtual machine, not the physical machine. The real infrastructure, the buildings, the actual, so for example, government has airports and everything. So the water sources. Now, who is supposed to? You are getting the water, and say so. If uh, if you do anything with the water, that would be your responsibility, right? But the water sources that is there, the protection of those water sources, those are who is responsible for that protection of infrastructure would be the government, right? So whoever the government has authorized to source that water. So uh, so government becomes, so it's always a shared responsibility in whatever area we choose. Like some part of the uh, you know services we will become responsible, but for some services, the actual provider will be responsible. So that is called as shared responsibility model. We have done this last time. So in services, we are looking at all the types of services. Now, it is not necessary that the infrastructure services definitely is provided all over in the entire global infrastructure, right? But global means all over the world. But it is not necessary all platforms are provided all over the world. Some platforms may not be provided in certain part of the world for whatever reason. It may be a new service that was introduced. So initially when they introduced only it in America, and then slowly looking at the usage of it, and resolving any bugs that may come out of it. After it has gone through some tests, they may decide to add new region depending on how many customers want to use that service. So services, platform services may not, or software as a services, may not be available immediately across the entire world. So you need to be aware about that. So it says the AWS global infrastructure is designed and built to deliver a flexible, reliable, scalable, and secure cloud computing environment with a high quality global network performance. So this map from https infrastructure.aws shows the current AWS regions and more that are coming soon. So, so this entire world, you can see underlying there's a map, of our world, and uh, so this entire world, we are geographically divided within a boundaries, right? We have in India, we have America, and so here you see in America, they have marked Oregon, North California, um, government cloud, Ohio, government cloud, US East, Canada, North Virginia, Ireland, London, Paris, Milan, Frankfurt, Stockholm, Bahrain, Mumbai, Sao Paulo. So South America has this only one region, it looks like. Cape Town, Bahrain, Mumbai, Singapore, Indonesia, Sydney, Tokyo, Hong Kong, Osaka, Japan, that is Seoul, Korea, and Beijing, China, and Ningxia, uh, which is again China. So this entire world has been broken down into you can say boundaries. Just like India has a boundary with all the other countries, or every other country has a boundary. These boundaries are defined in AWS global infrastructure as regions. Okay, so region is as good as a boundary. So Oregon is a region, North California is a region. So the country has multiple regions. In this case, GovCloud is a region. Uh, so this GovCloud region is very specific to the government of USA. So this region nobody can enter in. Whatever is happening inside this region, nobody can enter in unless you are partnering with the government of USA. So these are specifically used for government applications. So for example, in India, if we have, our what kind of applications we have in India, we have Aadhaar card applications, PAN applications. So all this data is belonging to the entire population of India. Now, would it make sense to take this data and host it inside some other region, or would it make sense for everyone to give access, everyone to give, access to create some machines of their own? You do not get any to do very basic stuff in that particular region, right? If it is not related to the government, you cannot create a machine in the same way. You cannot create your machine in as a normal customer, go inside GovCloud and try to create a machine over there. They will not allow you unless you have a some kind of contract with government, and they have allowed you to use their application. So you have to be, solely then and only then you will be having access to regions like this. So that's what that GOV cloud. Whenever you say GOV cloud, it is the government of USA. So some countries like Beijing and Ningxia is there, right? China region. So China is very, they have very strict policies. They don't want anything to go out of country. Neither don't want anything to come inside the country. But still they are participating, right? But the thing is, these regions ideally, no one in the world will be able to access this region by default. Definitely it is not enabled, it is disabled by default. If you have to enable it, then you will have to take permissions. So, and that permissions, definitely the government of China is watching these regions. They are very particular and very strict about their boundaries, and they don't like anybody else using their machines, or anybody else even doing businesses will have to be I don't know, I mean, the policies are very, you can say, not so friendly like any other countries. Okay, so every other country, I so GovCloud is one region which is restricted, and regions in China like Beijing and Ningxia. There may be some more regions inside China also. Okay, so that is what they are kind of suggesting. There are more regions in China, but we don't know about them. That region definitely you you can never ever reach, because it is not even mentioned over here, but it is there. So those boundaries are also there, but what is exposed to you maximum is these two regions. Okay, you have some business with China, you do it through Beijing and Ningxia over here. So that this will basically, this helps you control, right, the when you control one region and you are kind of restricting the amount of access, right? So that is the main advantage. So Mumbai, we have these regions over here. So Mumbai, so we are lucky that in the entire country, at least we have one region. So when you say what is it, see, region is a boundary. So what is the use of the boundary if the infrastructure is not there? Ultimately, the main machines, your main buildings, your main where your physical machines are, installed, your network equipments are installed, your so services are available, that all things have to be installed, it has to be there so that everybody can use the services. So regions by itself doesn't make sense. When you say region is an advantage, you mean you're getting all the infrastructure that is installed in that region. So so in case if you're accessing any infrastructure inside the Mumbai region, the amount of time to connect to a Mumbai region is much lesser compared to traveling all the way to some American building, right? Some American infrastructure. Why would you go? You create a machine when, if you just want to create a machine, create in Mumbai region. Why would you go all the way to Ohio? Because there is a time involved to go from here to here. If you see all these lines which are connected, these are actually physical network lines. These are going under the sea also, if you notice. Okay, these are all connected through the sea lines, and so it is so these are all physical wires which are all connected. So if you are looking at your internet, definitely this you can look at the sea cables. I'm not sure whether you have seen sea cables. Like, I was like really amazed to see the sea cables, when I saw it. So you see that you can so this line is going inside, the pipe is going inside over here. So I hope you can see that these are the pipes over here, and these are the cables, right? So through these cables is if you're traveling through this cable, it is more protected, right? So you can control, this is like one roadway, right? You can control who can travel on this network line. And one other thing also, you notice that there are three lines been created. When you create multiple lines, the it is a strategic it is a kind of a design, strategic design decision. So what is the obvious thing, what is the advantage of having three lines? If this is like roadways, right? So if one road gets closed, let's say some repair work is gone, something is broken, something, your other lines are still available, so internet connectivity is not lost in case if something, even if something happens to one line. So the chances of so you can have all this kind of decision. Maybe these three are running through one area of the sea, and through some other area of the sea some other lines are running. So this was something which was really amazed me, how these lines are connected. And another thing is, I don't know whether I can get this image. um, I'm seeing this image myself for the first time, but let's assume this is what it is. Right. So yeah, so this is Microsoft's underwater data center. So not only the lines are going under the sea, the entire building. You think of this as your building, okay? And they have just broken it down, the building, into like multiple rooms, you can say, or something. But all these kind of containers is your data center. So data center is where, so this is the first physical, this is the first one of the physical things, right? One, so far what you have seen, so on the physical thing you saw the network lines, right? So these are the network, this is the physical infrastructure. Then again, all these machines have to be provided, no? So you're not saying you want two processors, you want 2 GB memory. Where you're getting it from? You're getting it from the actual physical machine. Where is that physical machine? The physical machine is in the rack. And where are the racks? The racks are inside a data center. And this entire data center is inside the sea, not even on the land. For Azure, okay, not for AWS. Means we'll have to figure out if AWS has any such plans, or do they really have something, versus what is there and not revealed, so some or not all information is public, right? So we don't know everything, but at least we know these data centers are under sea. So there is the moment you go under sea, then the cooling part also comes, you're getting automatic air conditioner kind of cooling over there, and when it is cool, the networks they travel very fast, and it is more secure under the sea compared to maybe to putting it on the land. So so this is all strategic moves, and a different way of doing things. Instead of creating things on the land, you create it under the sea and operate it from there. So there are no people there. Of course, once you go in there, there's nobody. Everything is automatic, right? So so I hope this image is I'm seeing for the first time myself, and it looks very impressive to me. Okay, so where are we? So you see they are installing their data center inside the sea. Yeah, we were on student guide, no? So these lines that you're seeing, which I hope it is visible. It's very small. Um, so these are the lines, the data centers, but not necessary. Like AWS has got buildings. Okay? So when you go on for buildings, then definitely you have to buy the land and you have to build the infrastructure over there, and you have to also deal with the governments. Even if it is under sea, sea has boundaries, right? So so you have to uh, kind of deal with whatever authorities own that region. So regions are just geographical boundaries, okay? So you have to uh, let's what is this? Yeah, you wanted to see this, right? So if you look at this website infrastructure.aws, it gives you the entire map over here. So, so here it says US East Ohio region has 3 availability zones, and it is launched 2016. So, so within the region there are locations defined. Okay, so for example, in Maharashtra, I may define 3 locations. One is Mumbai, one is Nasik, and one is let's say Ratnagiri. So, so not even Mumbai. Maybe Mumbai region has 3 locations, which is maybe Pune, Nasik, and Ratnagiri. So, so it is not. So when we say Mumbai region, it does not mean actually inside the Mumbai. Inside the Mumbai, there are so many people. Between the people, you cannot have data centers. It is not secure. You always have to keep your data centers in a region where nobody is there or less people are there. And it is secret, so that the attacks, if there is any, nobody can attack those locations. So. And those locations are called as availability zones, okay, and that is the first thing that is first infrastructure that is defined over here, the piece of land. Okay, so there is a piece of land availability zone where in Nasik, in Ratnagiri, and in Pune. So there are 3 locations, so 3 availability zone in single region. So each of these availability zones will have data centers. So this is one way of looking at data center, but another image, if you look at what is a data center, so you can look at data center, how does it look like. I've already shown this image, I think, multiple times. So you see there's a, let's look at this maybe. So inside availability zone, there are data centers also. So data center, what does it have? Data center has machines. So these are actually these are racks basically. You can see there's one rack, two rack, three rack, four racks, five racks, six racks, and there are this whole building is covered with racks of machines. So when you say machine, means each machine has set of processor, memory, networking, so that is and storage, right? So it provides that, each machine is providing you that. So you can, so, and these are physical machines, right? So on this physical machine, one of this physical machine, 10 people can go and create their own machines, because that machine is pretty powerful and big enough to create 10 virtual machines on that one physical machine. So we are talking about one physical machine where 10 customers are there. In that way, each machine, if you say 10 customers are there, then you're looking at many customers being able to access all of the physical machines. So how many physical machines there may be there? There may be like 50,000 or to 80,000 machines, or you can say servers existing in each data center. Okay, we are not talking about in availability zone. There is a data center. Inside the data center, there are machines, and there are total 50 around 50,000 to 80,000 machines, physical machines, and each physical machine can cater to multiple customers. Okay, it is like a mall, right? So you, each mall is like one machine, and that mall can cater to multiple customers, right? Multiple shops. So just one mall can cater to so many customers, and one mall is equal to, let's say, one machine. That, of course, the mall is usually gives you lot many customers, lot many shops to be open, like maybe 100, 200. So I'm not sure what is, how many machines can really be created on each physical machine, but you can easily think about depending on the machine power. So some machines are very powerful, right? So if you have a very big some machines are having 128 core processor. So 128 core processor, each person usually takes let's say on an average 2 cores. Then you can create 64 customers on that. So anyway, you're looking at between 10 to 100 customers per machine. So in a way, we are, comparison with mall maybe okay. So I hope you all understood that part. So now this I'll just maybe draw a diagram. So if you have this entire world, as I told you, first you need to define your geographical boundaries, right? And those are your geographical boundaries. So let's use one of these shapes, maybe just your geographical boundaries. So let's say you have three geographical boundaries, over here. So these geographical boundaries, they don't have any existence. They don't mean anything unless you have some infrastructure on it. So this is like region 1, and this is like region 2, and this is like region 3. So the moment, what is the first infrastructure piece that goes in these areas is your um, availability zones, right? So each region may have two or three, or maybe more, at least two, minimum two usually is there. So as I told you, each region will have, so this is, let's say, Mumbai region. So Mumbai region as such doesn't mean that something is there exactly inside Mumbai. It means the entire, in that entire region of 300 to 400 kilometers. Okay, so you can think of that way. So let's say this is Nasik region. So there is a piece of land in Nasik region where the machines are installed. One is Pune region and one is Ratnagiri region. Okay, so this region, this availability, so this locations where actual piece of land is taken is called the availability zones. Okay, so how many availability zones you have got? We got zone 1, and then we can say AZ2 or AZB. AZB would mean availability zone B, and this would mean availability zone C. So again, inside each availability zone, what do we have? We have data centers, right? So Nasik may have 2 data centers. We do not know that. Um where is the triangle? So what are these triangles? Inside the availability zone, so we have a data center. Okay, so let's say this is data center 1 in availability zone 1 or A, and this is data center 2. Now each triangle, what they will have? Can you, anyone tell me now what will be there inside the data center? I want some answer now. There's somebody speak up and just answer. Who's answering? Okay, somebody has to say what will be there inside the data center. I just now answered, no?
Servers.
Yes, servers will be there, right? So Kunal, what will be there inside the data center?
ठीक है हम देंगे नहीं ठीक है हम देंगे ऑनलाइन तो बालों पाए या वही बोल रहे हैं
Hello, Kunal. Okay, I can't hear
हम
you, Kunal.
देंगे
I can't hear you. You can go mute. I don't know what is. Some fan is running and I don't know. Yeah, go on mute, Kunal. Yeah. Sweta, can you tell me what will be there inside a data center? Hello. Hello there. Hello.
Hello.
Are you seeing the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What is there inside the data center?
Uh, in data center network,
Yeah, networks and what else?
connectivity and data. Uh, yes, I don't know.
Okay. Palak, what is there inside a data center?
So
These
Yes,
are
sir.
physical servers.
right. So these are physical servers. This is the main important thing, right? So the physical servers. So you can. I'm drawing a circle over here. To So there is one physical server, and let's say there is two physical servers over here, right? And there may be another one physical server over here, and second physical server over here. So physical server is nothing but your machines, right? So inside data center, I may have physical machine we are talking about. Physical machine 1 and physical machine 2. And these machines are placed on rack. So this will be on rack 1, and machines 2 will be on rack 2. Right, so that is the diagram, right? So this is a rack, and there is a physical machine. This one vertical box we see, it is a sliding box, and we can just push it in. And so this fellow is one machine you can think of. So racks have multiple machines, so not necessary the different physical machines are on the same rack. What is the advantage of putting a machine on two different racks? Can anyone tell me? Let's say rack 1 has machine 1 and rack 2 has machine 2. What is the advantage? Anush, can you answer the question? What is the advantage if machines are placed on different racks?
सर वो किसी और पर्पस के लिए हो सकता है, मतलब कोई दूसरा प्रोसेस उस पे रन होता होगा और उस पे दूसरा डिप
अ, हाँ, वो तो आप एक रैक में भी दो मशीन डाल के कर सकते हो ना, दो अलग अलग मशीन। एक रैक पे दो मशीन भी हो सकते हैं ना,
यस सर।
तो अलग अलग एप्लीकेशन के अलग अलग मशीन भी उधर भी यूज़ कर सकते हैं। अब दो दो रैक रहने का एडवांटेज क्या है? मशीन को अलग अलग रैक पे रखने का एडवांटेज क्या है?
Sir, if there is fault in some machine, then we can focus on that machine only.
You're very close. You mentioned the word fault actually. So the
सर फॉर बैकअप, मे बी फॉर बैकअप।
हाँ, बैकअप भी बोल सकते हो, बट in a way yes. Let's say you have access to this. The main word is fault, okay? And remember the word,
Troubleshooting.
right? So the word that you should remember is fault isolation, resiliency. These are the words which you should so what are these words basically? Which means if something happens to one thing, it doesn't affect the other thing. So I am isolated from my fault. If I get faulted, there is some other rack happening. So what happens is you will be given a choice. Because in cloud, one application is managed by an army of servers, not one server, an army of servers. That army of servers are working using some parallel computing technology and doing things parallelly. It is like having multiple people to do the same work, so more work gets done fast, right? So you are having a multiple set of machines. So cloud will, whenever you configure cloud, they will ask you, okay, how do you define group of machines? You call them as placement group, like you group them. So placement group. So remember these words called placement group, because these terms will come and you will be asked, and you have to understand what it means. Uh, Doing the same task. So placement group is like a group of machines. So whenever a group of machines are created, you are talking about more than one machine. So then the question comes is, cloud is going to ask you, do you want to place this group on two different racks or on the same rack? So the advantage, and everybody is doing the same task. So let's say everybody is shifting water bottles from one area of the building to another area of the building. So you have created you have 10 people, and you have in these 10 people you have divided this one group, you have divided into two different rows, or two different series, two different lines. So each line is carrying the water, you know. Now what happens if one line goes faulty, like those five out of those 10 people, 5 people is in one line and the other 5 people are in the second line. If one line goes down, the other line keeps on continuing. The water flow is the water bottles are getting transferred, from one side of the building to the another side of the building, right? So this, in the same way, you can think of this placing things at two different places. Now, so here we are talking about racks, but here you see you get options even at the availability zones level. So keeping things at two places, or having two things doing the same thing, gives you the ability to be resilient. Resilient means withstand the fault isolation or withstand any problems, because if one line goes down, the other one is available. So that is the advantage of having. So you can place a group. It is not necessary if you have a group, all the entire group is residing on the same rack. So tell me, what is the advantage of placing a placement group on the same rack versus putting a placement group across racks? So there is some advantage of putting the all the machines on the same placement group on the same rack, and but there is also an advantage of putting the same placement group of machines on two different racks. Priscilla, can you think and answer this question?
So data transfer.
No. Data transfer, which example you're taking now? On placement group on the same rack or placement group across multiple racks?
Uh, on same rack, it will be like bandwidth will be like fast, and another rack suppose.
You're right, actually. So, Priscilla, um, did you,
Yes.
yeah, did you understand what Pranav said, and what did you understand?
So I was able to understand a little bit. I mean,
Yeah, so just tell me,
one minute.
what is a placement group, first of all? Tell me that.
Placement group. So, which is used with regards to transferring of data.
Here's the definition. No, I just now mentioned the machine. What is placement group?
Mhm.
What it says?
Group of machines doing the same task.
Okay. So now so tell me, what is placement group now?
So maybe there is a set of machines which is set up in order to perform a task.
Okay. So first tell me, why would you have multiple machines doing the same task versus only having one machine do the same task? What is the advantage?
So if there is a failure in one machine, it will not stop its task. It can continue with the.
Right. So that is one advantage. What is the second advantage of having a group of machines doing the same task?
If one machine is getting slow also, I mean, if apart from failure, if one is working slow.
That is what I you same thing you answered.
Okay.
No? That was, what is that word called when you have one machine going down, the other machine
Fault,
uh, fault isolation.
fault isolation.
Fault isolation means what then? Tell me.
Fault isolation. I mean, the term which you explained before sometime, fault isolation.
Yeah, isolating the fault, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isolating means doing away, right? Keeping it separately.
Keeping it separate, huh?
Yeah, so
Okay.
your that fault is not affecting you. That is what it means. So
Mm-hmm.
if there is a group of machines, one advantage is if few machines die down for some reason, the other machines are running, because the task is the task stopping because of few machines going down?
Yeah.
No, because all the machines were catered to do the same task. Okay,
Hmm.
so
So suppose we take an example of multi-AZ deployment in database.
sorry, multi, yeah, that is at the AZ level.
Multi-AZ deployment. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, but here we are at the most lower level right now, which is your rack level. So
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
so when you are running your application, when you give a group of machines to run a particular task, you're using parallel computing. Yeah, some background noise is coming, huh? Somebody's. You're using parallel computing technologies over there. What is the parallel computing technology that we have learned in our semesters? Can anyone tell me? Where group of machines are doing the same task. What is the technology we have studied in our semester? Anuj, any answer?
सर वर्चुअल मशीन थिंग्स.
वर्चुअल मशीन में पैरेलल कंप्यूटिंग किधर है? उधर भी है लेकिन you have to tell me then what parallel computing technology you are talking about. पैरेलल कंप्यूटिंग क्या होता है पहले वो बोलो.
टू सेपरेट टास्क रनिंग साइमल्टेनियसली.
Two separate tasks running simultaneously? No, not exactly. It is the same task usually, right?
या सेम टास्क सॉरी.
रनिंग साइमल्टेनियसली. तो साइमल्टेनियस करने का एडवांटेज क्या होता है फिर?
मतलब सर वो वर्क फास्ट होता है ना.
वर्क ज़्यादा होता है एक शॉर्ट टाइम
या
में. फास्ट
या
होता है मतलब वर्क ज़्यादा होता है ना. अगर एक काम दो आदमी करते हैं तो दो दो यूनिट काम एक सेकंड में होता है ना फिर.
राइट सर.
So the group of machines which is there on the advantage of group of machine is one, it is fault isolation and resiliency, which means in case if there is a issue with one, there will be the uh, uh, the task will still keep on running. The task will stop fully and only if all the machines are down. The other advantage is it reduces the time. This is so important to complete the task, no? If there are 10 machines doing the same task or then your time to complete the task is also reduced. This has got nothing to do with fault isolation then. So there are two advantages. So if there are 10 people working on a particular task, the amount of time taken for 10 people to divide the task among themselves and complete that task is lesser than compared to one person doing that task. So in the same way, machines also they perform the same way using parallel computing technologies, right? So parallel computing means multiple things happening as a single unit at the same time, right? So the time is reduced. um, Palak, you know anything about parallel computing technologies? Which parallel computing technologies you are aware about?
Uh,
No idea, sir.
So parallel computing can be achieved at different levels, right? On a machine, there are multiple cores. We say dual core, no, multi-core processor. So one task can be divided between two different cores in a single processor. That at a machine level you can do. If you have multiple machines, then you can for multiple machines if you have, then you can use map reduce technologies, right? So what is the example of map reduce? One of the example is Hadoop technology, right? So Hadoop is
Yes.
using map reduce. So what is map reduce doing? You have 10,000 files that is you need to transfer from, let's say you need to basically you're passing some data in every file, and there are 10,000 files to be processed. So what do? You take these 10,000 files and you give it to a group of machines, which is like say 10 machines. So each machine has to process 100 files, and each every so map is basically dividing your the function that needs to be performed, right? The task itself. So map basically make sure that 10,000 files are divided into 100 files. Each 100 file is given to one machine, and there are 10 machines. The reduce, what does the reduce part do then? Tell me that. Map distributes. What does the reduce part do? Palak, you remember anything about map reduce? Map distributes the task. What does reduce do?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, didn't get the question.
मैप रेड्यूस में मैप क्या करता है और रेड्यूस क्या करता है? See, whenever you have to do, let's say you got 10 people, okay? आज ये बिल्डिंग में एक टंकी भरना है, पानी पानी इसमें पानी भरना है, तो आप 10 लोगों को बुलाते हो, तो 10 लोगों को बुलाते हो और दो टैप से, तो आप क्या करोगे? 5 लोगों को बोलोगे एक टैप पे जाओ, दूसरे लोगों को बोलोगे दूसरा टैप पे जाओ. सो यू आर डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिंग द टास्क एंड यू आर ऑल्सो गिविंग द टास्क. द व्हाट इज द टास्क? टास्क इज वो नल से पानी लेके आओ एक बकेट में, और बकेट से पानी लेके टंकी में डालो, ऐसे बोलते हो. तो 5 लोग एक टैप पे जाते, दूसरे 5 लोग दूसरे टैप पे जाते. दिस इज kind of distributing the task and giving the task. So this is where map comes in. reduce क्या होता है? reduce ये होता है कि सब होने के बाद आपको देखना है कि टंकी भरा हुआ है कि नहीं है ना, कितना भरा हुआ है, कौन तो चेकिंग करना चाहिए ना कॉन्स्टेंटली. फिर वो टंकी से पानी लेके बिल्डिंग में भी ट्रांसफ़र करना है या कुछ भी दूसरा रीजन में भेजना है, वो अलग काम है. लेकिन किसी को तो वो रिड्यूस करना पड़ता है. ये पूरा डेटा अभी जो किया है, 5 लोगों ने कितना पानी भरा, वो 5 लोगों ने कितना पानी भरा, टंकी में कितना हो गया, पूरा समराइज करना पड़ता है. सो reduce is like summarizing your all that task that was done by multiple machines. So you need to at the end know, okay, what is the final number, right? So the you want to add 1 plus 2 plus 3. One person, let's say you want to add 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. One person you're saying, let's say Pranav is there. So Pranav, you're saying Pranav, you do 1 plus 2, and Kunal is there, then Kunal is doing 3 plus 4. So Pranav, so that is called mapping. Okay, so Pranav gets the answer 3, and Kunal gets the answer 7. But is that the final answer? No, you have to do that 3 plus 7 also, no? So that 3 plus 7, who is going to do? The reduce part is going to do. Reduce part is constantly taking the output from all these distributed processes, and it collates it and then gives you the final number, because I want the result for 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, not for 1 plus 2 and 3 plus 4 separately. That is my main task, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. So I'm dividing this into 1 plus 2 and another task of 3 plus 4. The output of this 2 has to be finally again be added and given to me as a final number. So the reduce part is constantly collating information. तो कुणाल, आपको समझ में आ गया मैप रेड्यूस पैरेलल कंप्यूटिंग टेक्नोलॉजी? आपका कुछ आवाज़ नहीं आ रहा है, आपका माइक आप टेस्ट करो. ओके. So Priscilla, what did you understand about map reduce technology?
Yes, sir. So it's like the yeah, I understood the concept. Like the way you gave example, if three people are there, two people are doing the calculation, the third person has to main get that information and get the result out of it.
Right. So that in case of people, we have machines over here doing that thing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in real world, we process files, we transfer data, we encrypt information, we do n number of tasks. The machine is doing n number of things. Okay. So everything is a task for a machine.
Hmm.
So now tell me, Priscilla, what is the advantage of putting the entire placement group on one rack versus putting the versus splitting the placement group across multiple racks? There's an advantage on both the sides, right? Both of them have as an advantage. What is the advantage? If you want fault isolation and resiliency, what type of placement group are you going to choose? Single rack placement or multiple rack placement?
Multiple rack placement.
Very good. If you want to reduce the latency time of any application, what is the placement group style you're going to use? Are you going to use placement group on a single rack versus placement group across the racks?
Latency is a single.
Single. What is latency?
Latency is like delay. Uh,
Yeah, it is consist. Yeah, it's a reduction of
time.
delay. You can say delay it is. What is the time taken? Latency is the time taken to process the task. What is the
Hmm.
just think of latency as time taken to perform the task. Just think of it that way. Okay.
Okay.
So what will be the time taken to perform the task on the same rack versus machines which are split across two different racks?
The multiple racks will take more time.
Yes.
Single
So
machine.
yeah.
Yeah.
So latency. So which will be more late? Latency means late, right? So
Yeah.
which will be more late?
The multiple ones.
Right. So latency will be higher in case of multiple racks.
Hmm.
Latency will be less in case of single rack. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now tell me, is the latency reduced when you have the entire placement group on a single rack, or is the latency reduced when we have the placement group on multiple racks?
Latent. Sorry, sir. I mean,
Um, in which case is the latency time reduced? Placement group placed on the same rack or placement group placed split across multiple racks?
same rack. The time consumption is less in same rack.
Right, very good. So did you understand the word latency?
So I understood the term latency. The way you said, like the time taken, how much delay is happening for the task to get performed, right?
Right. No, it's not exactly, yeah, it is how much time, but the more accurate it is how late it is.
How late? Okay. How late?
So, so latency time is reduced means it is less late. If I'm able
Okay.
to, let's say you are staying in Malad, I am staying in Borivali, and somebody else is staying in Thana. Okay, what is my latency time? Is my latency time going to be lesser than the person staying in Thana? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you stay near to me, that person stays far from me.
Right.
Thane
So
is far.
right. So that person's latency time will be bigger. Okay. So you're going
More.
to
Yeah.
yeah. So you're going to have questions on placement groups and latencies and fault isolation and resiliencies. So remember all these terms. Okay. So I hope you'll have understood these terms so that you're not getting confused when it shows up in your question.
Hmm.
Okay. So So Shweta, can you explain me this global infrastructure, whatever we have explained so far? Hello, Shweta. Shweta, are you there?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, ये एक्सप्लेन करोगे पूरा ग्लोबल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर जो मैंने अभी बताया है?
Uh, so I will try.
हाँ, नो प्रॉब्लम, ट्राई करो ना.
So actually, global.
ग्लोबल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर किधर से शुरू होता है? सबसे पहला क्या आपको
Region.
रीजन, वेरी गुड. इट स्टार्ट्स विद अ रीजन. अभी रीजन का कोई मतलब होता है अगर उसके अंदर कुछ नहीं है तो? एक बाउंड्री
No,
है
sir.
सिर्फ, वो सिर्फ बाउंड्री. बाउंड्री डज नॉट मीन एनीथिंग विदाउट समथिंग दैट इज कंटेन्ड इनसाइड दैट बाउंड्री. ओके. तो तो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर किधर से चालू होता है फिर? रीजन के अंदर किधर से चालू होता है?
The physical servers network,
नहीं, फिजिकल सर्वर किधर होता है?
data center. Sorry,
डेटा
data center.
सेंटर किधर होता है?
Data.
आपको जमीन खरीदना तो पड़ेगा ना, मतलब.
Sir, availability zone.
हाँ, तो आप बिना जमीन खरीदे आप कैसे आगे बढ़ सकते हो? डेट मशीन तो अलग बात है, एक घर बनाने के लिए पहले आपको जमीन खरीदना पड़ेगा ना.
Hmm.
तो उसको अवेलेबिलिटी जोन सोचो. ठीक है.
हाँ.
वो पीस ऑफ लैंड को अवेलेबिलिटी जोन. तो एक रीजन में कितने अवेलेबिलिटी जोन्स होते हैं?
Two or more.
टू और मोर. तो ये एग्जाम्पल में मैंने क्या क्या बताया, कितने ज़मीन मैंने खरीदे हैं?
Three. Nashik, Ratnagiri, and Pune.
हाँ, सो नासिक में तुमने कुछ ज़मीन खरीद लिया, रत्नागिरी में कुछ ज़मीन खरीद लिया, पुणे में कुछ ज़मीन खरीद लिया. अभी आपका बिल्डिंग कंस्ट्रक्ट हो जाएगा उधर. तो आप कितना बिल्डिंग बांध सकते हो एक रीजन के अंदर, एक अवेलेबिलिटी जोन के अंदर?
So
नासिक.
availability is the sir question क्या था?
आपने ज़मीन खरीद लिया बराबर ना, नासिक में,
Yes.
रत्नागिरी में, पुणे में. अभी आपको बिल्डिंग बांधना है, आप एक बिल्डर हो,
Hmm.
इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर क्रिएट करो. आप कितना बिल्डिंग बांध सकते हो एक एक अवेलेबिलिटी जोन के अंदर? और वो बिल्डिंग को हम क्या कहते हैं?
The data centers.
वेरी गुड. तो कितना डेटा सेंटर्स हम क्रिएट कर सकते हैं एक
One,
अवेलेबिलिटी?
one or more than one.
हाँ, मतलब ये आप पर है ना, कितना बिल्डिंग बांधना चाहते हो
Yeah.
आप पर है.
Yes.
लेकिन ज़रूरी नहीं है कि आपका एक ही बिल्डिंग हो, दो बिल्डिंग हो, दो या आइडियली दो तीन तो हो ही जाते हैं एक एक अवेलेबिलिटी जोन में. ठीक है.
Yes.
तो अभी डेटा सेंटर के अंदर घुसते हैं हम लोग. मुझे बोलो
Hmm.
डेटा सेंटर के अंदर क्या है?
Physical servers.
हाँ, फिजिकल सर्वर किसके ऊपर रहता है डेटा सेंटर के अंदर?
Physical server.
इधर आंसर है, देखो. फिजिकल मशीन वन किस पे है?
Physical machine one.
किस पे है?
Rack one and rack two.
हाँ. रैक क्या होते हैं मुझे बोलो तो फिर.
Um, Rack means we keep the means virtual machine we are keeping there as storage.
नहीं, नॉट एग्जैक्ट आंसर. रैक आपका एक कबर्ड होता है ना. अभी आपने डेटा सेंटर आपका क्या हो गया, एक बिल्डिंग हो गया, बराबर है।
हम्म,
तो
हाँ,
रैक आपका कबर्ड हो गया। तो कुछ भी सामान आपको रखना है तो पहले तो आप कबर्ड रखोगे ना, शेल्फ्स करोगे ना,
यस।
तो उसको हम रैक कहते हैं, ठीक है। वो कबर्ड के अंदर फाइनली आपका फिजिकल मशीन जाएगा, जो आपका कंप्यूटर है, ठीक है। तो वो जाएगा। तो मुझे तो डेटा सेंटर के अंदर क्या होते हैं, मुझे अभी फिर से बोलो आप।
So data in centers there are means rack, and we are means we are store hardwares, and we are storing it there, and the data centers are there.
Yeah, so inside a data center, we
Hmm.
is data center is consisting of racks.
Okay.
Racks is consisting of physical machines.
Hmm.
One physical machine can create multiple virtual machines.
Okay.
ये रिपीट कर सकते हो जो मैंने बोला अभी।
Um data centers are having racks, and in racks physical machines are there, and physical servers are there.
फिजिकल मशीन इज फिजिकल सर्वर,
Server. Okay.
अलग नहीं है।
Yeah.
फिजिकल मशीन के बाद क्या आता है?
um, Physical
एक फिजिकल वन फिजिकल मशीन कैन हैव व्हाट, मल्टीपल।
multiple racks. Hmm.
नो, कंफ्यूज हो रहे हो आप। आप
So
थक
एक
गए।
बार रिपीट कर नो
आई
सर।
ओके, मैं रिपीट करता हूँ।
ओके।
ओके, मैं अभी स्टार्टिंग से रिपीट करता हूँ। वन रीजन कैन हैव वन और मोर availability zone. One availability zone can have one or more data center. One data center can have many racks. One rack can have many machines, many physical machines. One physical machine can have many virtual machines.
ओके।
तो रिपीट करो पूरा।
One region is having one or more availability zones, and then availability zone is having one or more data centers. Data center is having many racks, and in one rack one or more physical machines are there, means physical servers are there, and in uh, physical machine virtual machines are there.
One or more virtual machine is there.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so I took some time to explain this because see, if you all don't understand this, then you always, it is very important to understand cloud. You need to know this because this is people are going to talk on inside your cloud work. They are going to talk about अरे कौन सा region में आपका सर्विस चल रहा है, तो you have to know वो कौन सा availability zone में चल रहा है। तो now we for us as a customer, we know how many regions are there and how many availability zones is there, but cloud will not tell you how many data centers are there, and cloud will not tell you how many physical machines are there or how many racks are there. What cloud will tell you is how many regions are there and how many availability zones are there, and it will give you an option where when you create a placement group, which is a group of machines doing the same task, it will ask you whether you want to place the group on the same rack or across racks. It will not tell you which rack exactly cloud will choose for you. You have to just tell I want it on the same rack. And why will you tell that on the same rack? Because you want to reduce the latency time. And why will you tell whether the placement group these machines are to be split across racks? Because you want to make sure it is fault isolated and resilient. So Okay. Um, so apart from this, some more, we are taking time in this. I hope it is worth the time. Um, so all these availability zones, okay, they are connected using a high speed network. So you have to remember this part. Okay. So not only that, this high speed network is redundant, which means there are two lines going in over here. Each availability zone may be connected to, now there is also a line going from here to here. Okay, means every availability zone is connected to, let me take a straight line. So there is one availability, there is one network line from Nasik to Ratnagiri, high speed network line. Okay, the word is high speed. It is very fast network. It is like your local network only. They are connected. Apart from this, these lines are redundant. Redundant means repeated again. And every availability zone is connected to every other availability zone. We do not know the network architecture, but that is what I am assuming right now. So sorry, it is all here's the connection, no? That one, okay, yeah. Everyone is connected to everyone over here. So what is the advantage of redundant line? The redundant line is again uh, in so can you tell me what is the advantage of having two network high speed network lines, redundant lines, uh, between availability zones? Can anyone tell me what is the word, what is the advantage? Palak, can you tell me what is the advantage?
Can you, sir, can you repeat the question?
I am having two network lines redundant, they are redundant means repeated between any two availability zone. What is the biggest advantage of that?
Sir, if there is some fault in some of, if any of the network line, so other can be used for the
Very good.
same.
What is the word for that? What are we enabling? What is the word?
Fault isolation?
Very good. This is also called fault isolation and resilient network. Okay. So machines can, placement groups are also fault isolated and resilient. In the same way, network lines are also fault isolated and resilient. So see, you cloud cannot get switched off, right? At any given time cloud has to be available, otherwise the whole point of giving this cloud service goes is meaningless, right? You are running a business on the cloud. Cloud cannot say one day, oh electricity चला गया, oh network line में problem है, इधर का pipe टूट गया. Can business across the world, will they come to the cloud in case if they constantly have such kind of problems? 24 hours availability has to be there. So fault isolation and resiliency, if you make a system fault isolation and resiliency, you are enabling and you make it redundant also. Like fault isolation and resiliency definitely is done by creating things by using redundant strategies, right? And what does redundancy lead to? Availability. You're making sure the system is always available. So you cannot make the system available if you don't have a redundant strategy, a backup strategy, a redundant strategy. Your backup is your redundant, right? You're having your file, so that you lose the file. You take a backup of that, and you not only make sure that you have one copy of that file on your local box, but what you do, you take that one copy and you create a second copy and place it in your Google Drive. So now your availability has increased, more, right? Now it is highly available. First it was available because you have a multiple backups on your same machine. In case if one file is deleted, you are having the other copy in the other folder. But you are making it now not only available but highly available. Highly available means you're now changing the location only. You're taking your file and putting it in the drive which is on the cloud, which is somewhere on the world, on your one of your Google drives. So that is the difference between availability versus high availability. High availability means multiple redundant strategy using multiple high availability means multiple availability zone, which means I am going to if my service is running in one availability zone, I will make sure it is redundant and running in another availability zone also, and that way I will make sure my system is highly available because each location is away from another location with a distance of approximately 100 kilometers plus. So if something happens in Pune region, it does not mean it will happen in Nasik region. And I am having the redundant strategy across two availability zones. When you use two availability zone to make a fault isolated service, a resilient service, you are creating a highly available service. So what is the difference, tell me, between availability versus hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Palak, can you answer this question? What is the difference between availability versus high availability?
Um, sir, availability means.
Okay, first define availability. How is availability achieved?
So if a user want to use any service, so the service or a machine should be available to that user at that point of time.
Right, but how do you make sure something is available, that machine is available at that point of time? What if the machine goes down? What is the strategy used to make availability possible?
So we will use alternate options for that.
Right, so on your top I've one of the options is we use parallel computing technology, right, within the same availability zone. In the same racks we place or multiple racks we place, it is in both the examples it is contained within the same availability zone, right?
Yes.
So that is an example of availability.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so
So high availability will be, we will have multiple availability zone. Like if the Pune server or
yeah, basically it means
access the Ratnagiri's one.
we are replicating our services not in the same availability zone but across multiple availability zones. So in this case there is Nasik and Pune. So my service like database is there and it is contains all the crucial information. So I will have one copy of the database in Pune, so which is like over here. Which color I can draw? So I'll have one service running here and I will duplicate that service, duplicate that database or duplicate that platform even here in Nasik. If something happens to Pune, the Nasik is very far, it is 100 kilometers away from Pune and it is the same service, it is the same data. So let's say you've got Aadhaar card information in Pune. I will have replicate the entire country's Aadhaar card information in Nasik also. If Pune goes down for some reason, I can connect to Nasik, and in that way my system is not only available but it is highly available, because now I made sure my system is redundant, fault isolated, resilient across multiple availability zone. So when you use multiple availability zones to make your systems fault isolated, resilient, redundant, available, you are creating a highly available system. So can you explain now what is can you explain with example what is the difference between availability versus high availability? Priscilla, can you answer that?
Uh, yes, sir. Mm. So, with regards to availability, so when we are trying to perform a task, we will check like if it is available or not. And with regards to high availability, if mm,
How is
we'll see
availability
that.
achieved? Okay, let's go with what is how is what is availability means the system should be available. Okay,
Mm,
service should be available, the shop should be open, the bank should be open at all times, right? That is an example of availability, right? So you say the bank should be open, no, all the time. You're trying to say the bank should be available. That is the meaning of availability. Now, how does so how is availability achieved?
mm, mm, performing the mm,
Okay, I'll give you one example. Okay, now. Hmm?
mhm.
So try to understand this. You're going to which bank? Let's say any bank. Give me any example of any bank.
Yeah, State Bank. Yeah.
Okay. So State Bank. Let's say Pranav is working in State Bank. Okay.
Okay.
So you want to create an account. So you have to go to Pranav. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is the if Pranav is falling sick and he doesn't come to work, your account does not get open. Is the system available? Is the bank available?
Bank is available, but Pranav
How?
is not available.
No, bank. What is the use of bank being available? Means the service should be available, no?
Okay, service. Okay, Pranav is not there, so the service can't be proceeded.
So
Okay.
that is the meaning of available. The service has to be enabled. Pranav is not there, so how will the service is not there? Means how will you will create an account? So what is the strategy you will place in order to make sure your bank is always available and the service is always available? What will you do? What does bank do?
They have different branches.
No, you are connected to a branch right now. You want this service from the branch, and
Okay.
you are going to, and you're dependent on Pranav. Now,
So maybe some
say
other
what will bank do to make sure the bank service is always available? Available. Think like a bank. What will?
okay employee,
Sorry.
other employee.
Very good. So they will have, let's say, Kunal. Let's say Pranav. If Pranav is not there, don't worry. Kunal is there. Correct, no?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
what is the chances of you getting the service? Your chances of availability increases from 0% to 50%.
Hmm. Hmm.
50-50 chances there, no?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So if let's say even Kunal is not there, what will bank do then?
Another employee.
Very good. So another employee means, let's say Anuj is there. So he'll say, if don't worry, if Pranav is not there, then Kunal is will be there. If Kunal is not there, Anuj will be there. What is the chances of the system being available? 0%, 50%, or 90 or 75%?
75%.
Very good. So that is what it means. Availability is 50% available means you are having two replicas. Your system is 75% is available means at least three replicas are there. Are you getting the meaning of availability?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now that you've understood this, so that is what is meaning availability. Availability is always restricted to a single location. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But when you say, let's say something happens to the bank, State Bank is in Malad, you're saying. Something happens to State Bank. Now, will the entire means entire thing was bombarded and now no none of those people can come. Neither Pranav can come, neither Kunal can come, neither Anuj can come because the entire location has been bombarded. Something went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
What will bank do to make sure that the bank is still available? Will the bank lose all the data?
No.
Will it have some strategy in place to address this kind of situation also? What will bank do? What will State Bank do in this case?
Maybe they will transfer all the data to another department. I mean, another branch.
When they will do that? It's a good strategy, but when they will do that? They will do when it is bombarded, or on a regular basis they'll make sure the data is replicated and is redundant across different locations.
No. They'll keep a backup because they can't wait for the last minute, right? So
Very good. So what is your chance of your availability now? 75 0%, 50%, 75%, or 90%?
90%, since we
Very
have a
good. Yeah, now we have two locations. Not only one location has three replicas, but that replica is also in two locations, and that another location also may have multiple replicas.
Hmm.
Getting the entire, are you able to visualize everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when you try to increase your availability by making sure it is across availability zone, because availability zones are separated by distance, no? Can you see that 100 kilometers written on my diagram?
Yes, sir.
So it is distributed, and it is also replicated, and the data is replicated. The services also may be replicated. Now, what is running in Pune may also be running in Nasik. So these are kind of a disaster recovery strategies. We say disaster recovery. Disaster recovery strategy usually uses highly available architectures. So tell me now, what is the difference between availability versus high availability?
So availability is okay. I'll just say the example thing on this. I mean, I don't.
Yeah. So
So
in
availability.
there are machines. That is only difference.
Yeah. So if it's like one machine is one machine is not working, there will be multiple machines available.
Right. And how you can do that? Through placement group, right?
Through placement group.
So placement group is achieves availability.
Yeah, it's trying to do the same task no matter there are set of machines available.
Correct.
So at least if one machine is not working, that task can be done by the other machine, and
Right.
the availability will be more higher. Highly available is when we are trying to keep a replica or a backup of it. When all these
Where are we trying to keep the backup or replica? In the same location or across two different?
different multiple locations.
So highly available architectures, the prominent feature is locations, right?
Locations.
Because in availability also means replicas, but it means replicas in the same location.
Yeah, and in high availability, it's in multiple location.
Hmm. So I hope you all have understood the terms availability, high availability. So when you say 99 four nines, so let's say uh, uh, cloud AWS says my availability is equal to four nines. This means you have to type 9999 and put a decimal over here, two places back. If you say my availability is 9, say 10 nines, then 10 nines would mean you type 9 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and take two decimals away. Okay. So it means it is, sorry, not 99.99 is actually diverse. 10 nines is equal to, you type 10 9, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, but put a full stop, so put a decimal after the first, after the leading digits, right over here. So which means the chances, this is percent over here. So this would mean 9, if I say 10 nines availability I have, it means 99.9999999, mean chances are very less. So Priscilla, tell me, why can availability be never ever 100%? Tell me that. Why it cannot be, why something cannot be available 100%?
Mm. No, sir.
Okay. Can you guarantee your anything in this world, your life, machine, country?
No.
Can anything be guaranteed? No.
No.
Yeah. No matter what we do, whether we are creating an availability strategy in the same availability zone, across availability zone, or across regions. So now we can go across regions also, or whether
Mm.
across region, you can never ever guarantee the 100% availability, because the whole world also can get destroyed by an asteroid, right? So I mean the things can get destroyed, can go away, and it, we never have that 0.1% chance or 0.001% chance something can go wrong at any given time. So that is why it is not 100%.
Okay.
Okay. So apart from redundant, so these lines which I spoke to you, which is running network lines running between two availability zones. These are high speed networks. Okay. So what is, if there are high speed networks connecting the availability zone, will the latency time be reduced, or will it be more, or will it be less? Priscilla again. Having high speed networks connecting the availability zones, will it reduce that latency time, or will it increase the latency time?
Uh, it will increase.
Latency will increase. Latency is equal to
Yes.
how late it is. If you
Mm-hmm.
high speed super highway connecting Nasik and Ratnagiri, will you reach fast, or will you reach will it take more time?
Oh, highway? No, I'll reach fast.
Yeah, how I reach fast means less late.
Okay, so it is less latency.
Right. So now, so this, let's say this Mumbai region is there, and another region is in Singapore, and the third region, let's say, is in America. So tell me, Priscilla, will the latency time between Mumbai and Singapore be more, or will the latency time between Mumbai and America be more?
Um, so Mumbai and America will be more. Mumbai and Singapore will be less.
Right. So latency will be less in between Mumbai and Singapore. Is that right?
Hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay. So if some service is not available, because I told you not all services, like say some database you want to use, Health Lake, let's say, and but Health Lake may not be available in Mumbai region. That platform may not be available. So in that case, will you have two regions where Health Lake is available, Singapore and America. Which region are you going to choose and why?
So I'll choose Singapore because the latency will be less, and I mean the task can be performed fast.
Very good. So you are so when you choose regions, you are going to look at latency time. So this should be one of the
Hmm.
reasons. This is one of the factors you're going to definitely look at. What is the latency time for that service? Depending on that, you're going to choose the region. So let us say now example. Uh, 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 you know, HealthLink has your data of all American customers. Okay, so that service you want to use, which contains the data of all American customers. Government of America says all patients' data should never be beyond my region. You have to comply with my rules, comply with my regulations. Make sure you are following this so and so standard to store the data. Make sure it is encrypted. Never display the data to patient's data to everyone inside the America also. So you are bound with compliance,
Hmm.
governance, rules. Somebody is telling you you have to follow this rules. So again the same choice. You are supposed to create a health lake service for the data of all American customers. Are you going and Mumbai? Mumbai does not has that health lake service, and you have to make a choice of region. Which region are you going to choose? Singapore or America?
America.
Why?
So since they have given a mm, rule as such.
Right. So will latency matter at that given time?
No, no.
Right. So now you have understood that latency can be chosen, but it cannot override compliance and governance rules. When
Hmm.
when you choose where the service is going to run, which region it is going to be executed in, you have to make sure you are following all the rules. It depends on which application you're creating, which it may be for some business or it may be for some government. If it is for India, then Aadhaar card information, then government will have a compliance that Aadhaar card information cannot move on these networks, they cannot travel outside this country, in which case you are bound to the Mumbai region. And if the service is not available and you are not able to move even outside the region, then you have to just go ahead and request AWS, please provide provide this platform in the Mumbai region, and then maybe AWS will try to make that service available in the Mumbai region. So choosing region is a very critical piece when you are moving towards cloud. If your business is moving towards cloud, if government is going to use cloud services in future, they are going to choose the first, they are going to make a choice of region. So another factors that they are going to look into is latency. They are going to come up with disaster recovery strategies. They are going to look at at a lower level when developers are creating the application. They are going to look at placement groups. So everything is you're trying to create a highly resilient fault isolated system. So now these purple lines are basically, you can say, network lines which is belonging to AWS global network. And another networks which we have to be aware about is your internet. So internet, the lines are moving all across, right? Multiple
Yes.
lines are moving. So you have your internet network also. Which means, so I don't know any place in Singapore, but let's say I am in Ohio. Ohio is another region, no? So let's go with let's go with okay, let's go with Ohio region, or let's say Virginia, or say Ohio only. Just to- So I can use if there are some service running in Nasik in availability zone 1, and my database is lying in Ohio. So let's say my website is in Nasik, but my database is in Ohio. And in order for my website to store the data, it has to travel all the way to Ohio. Which network options do I have available to connect Nasik and Ohio? Priscilla again. What network options do I have?
Network options.
Yeah, so I mentioned this purple line. Now, what is this purple line says?
Network. AWS Global Network.
Right, AWS global networks are private, secures, means protected.
Hmm.
Internet network is public, secure is a question mark, fast is also a question mark. So there are two network options available for you to connect between regions also. AWS global network, internet network. Your own Airtel or Jio, you're using internet network. No, it is public network. Everybody is using that network to travel on that same line. It is the same road used by everyone. But apart from that, AWS, the regions are also having connected. I showed you those cables, C cables. So C cables are like your private lines, no? So one of those lines running through that cable will may be dedicated only to AWS. AWS must have purchased one line separately for themselves. and they will not give it to anybody else unless it will be used only for services to reach to each other across regions. So tell me now, the question is, will the latency time be more for AWS global network or internet network? Which networks are you going to choose to reduce the latency time? Priscilla.
So both are important, right?
Both are? Sorry, what was?
I mean, both uh, both are both are required, right?
No, you want to just reach from Nashik to Ohio. You just require one bus, no, to travel. Either you have a plane, private jet, private chartered plane, which you have purchased your own plane, okay, let's say. Either you travel with
Mm-hmm.
one plane or you use local uh, airline, whatever, Indian Airlines or something. So you have in planes also you have option, no? You can have your private chartered plane or something, no? Correct?
Yeah.
Versus you will have Indian Airlines where it transfers all the customers in one go, right? If you have a choice between the two, which one are you going to use? Which is private, secure, and fast?
The So it's like a AWS global network, as at least we have the assurance of security and the speed is fast.
Yeah. Now the president of America, will he be traveling with us in the same plane with the public
Hmm.
network, public planes?
No.
He will have his own plane, no, separately dedicated to him.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
Yeah.
getting it?
Yes,
Tell
ma'am.
me, if you so in cloud you have a choice whether you use AWS global network or whether you use internet network. Which one are you going to use in case you have a choice, and why?
So I'll use the AWS global network.
Okay, very good. Why?
So it has the facility of private, it's secured,
And fast.
yeah, and fast.
Yeah. What is private exactly? When you say private network, what is private exactly? What is that network actually?
Private network. The task which I'm doing maybe
Network are the C cables, no, which I spoke
C
about.
cable.
You remember that C cable the image which I showed some time back?
Actually, I'm seeing it from my phone, so
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah.
Okay, we'll just shift now. We are almost wrapping up, so
Mm.
we'll go with maybe Shweta. Shweta, are you there online?
Yes, sir.
Shweta, which network are we going to use when we want to connect between different services? AWS Global Network or Internet Network?
AWS Global Network,
Okay, why?
because it is private, secure, and fast network.
Okay, when we say network, what are we referring to exactly?
It's like C cables that you
Right.
said.
Okay. So C cables are like in that one pipe, 10 pipes will be there, and one pipe will be dedicated. Nobody is traveling on that road. If you have 10 lanes, let's
Yes.
say, on your road, one lane is only for, let's say, VIP people, then that lane is private, secure, and fast. So remember all this. Okay, any questions? Stop logic, make a logical stop at over here.